Hi guys, so I hope you all got a chance to go through the welcome video. I just wanted to, I like to always start these events, these groups, with telling you a little bit about me and my journey and what brought me here and what that looks like. So most of you would know if you're in here, my name's Amanda Townsend. I'm a one-star diamond coach and I've almost reached my 1-year anniversary, which is April 28th, so that's coming up really soon. So when it's so difficult for me to explain how I got started because it really just kind of happened so quick. I didn't get a lot of information about coaching like that's offered to you guys. I had peeked in on a couple things, but I never really plugged in, so I didn't know much about it. But one of my friends that I had went to school with, I noticed on her Facebook page that she was doing these workouts all the time. And for some of you that know me from years ago, I was severely overweight. I actually was at my heaviest, I was 210 pounds, 209 pounds. A lot of people don't remember that. I segregated myself. It was a really tough time in my life. I had had my son and I went up to 180 pounds when the day that I gave birth to him. And I lost all that weight and went down to about 140 pounds. And then within about 6 months, I gained it all back, plus more. When I look back at that person, I didn't want to believe that that's what I was looking at. Like I didn't want to believe that I was that heavy. I didn't admit that I was depressed. I was in a very toxic relationship that it consumed me. I couldn't focus on what my future was going to look like and any of that stuff. It was just a horrible place in my life. I had a lot of support for what I was going through as far as my relationship and certain things, dealing with certain aspects of my life. But the one thing is that I noticed is nobody ever held me accountable for my weight. I was a stress eater. I just stopped caring. I didn't care about my health. I didn't care about how I felt. I started binge drinking. I just felt yucky, so it didn't matter. I didn't care about what I put in my body. I didn't care about anything at that point in my life. Fast forward a couple years, I eventually left my son's father. I left that relationship. I made so many changes in my life, but the one change that I never made was my health. I didn't really understand how important it is, and I didn't care. I was starting this new life and I was going to school and I was working and I was doing everything I could just to be a mom and to be present for him. And it just, as much as I wanted to believe I was happier, I was still struggling with so many different aspects. I was fighting through depression, regular doctor's appointments, just everything, and trying to put a nice smile on our face like we do for our children and let them know that everything was okay. It got to a point where over, some time, I found what I thought was happiness. I worked at a job that I loved. I worked with children. I worked in group home environments. I was in management. So what some people would say is like, you had a good career, what was the problem? To be honest, I spent 8.5 years as a child and youth worker, 4 of them being in a management position. And as much as I loved what I did, it was very exhausting. And it wasn't because of the kids, it was actually because so much in the business of child and youth work had changed. And I am a very opinionated person. I'm very strong in my beliefs, and I was slowly finding myself not accepting and not believing in how they were going about this business, and I didn't feel like it was as genuine as it was when I started. So I started to lose interest in the field. I started to go back to that place of depression and thoughts of, what am I going to do? I can't do this for the rest of my life, but I've done it for so long now that I felt like it was my only option. And so I worked and I worked and I brought home a paycheck. I was making a good living, but I was not happy. And my weight was fluctuating with it. You know, I would lose some weight because of stress and then I'd gain it back. And it just got to a point where I knew I needed to do something. So fast forward to when I see my friend posting about this workout program. At this point, I had nothing to lose. And when I say I had nothing to lose, my weight has been my biggest battle my whole life, along with depression and anxiety. So I had tried every pill on the market. I had tried every, like starving myself, any fad diet that came out. You can bet your dollar that I have invested in it. I would hate to see the receipt for the amount of money that I have invested in these shit products that did absolutely nothing for me. So at this point, I seen it. I did a little bit of research into it, and I seen that it was a very natural way, and it was a successful way of losing weight. This wasn't something that I was going to lose all this weight and then I was going to gain it back when I, stopped taking a special pill or something like that. So it was something that intrigued me. So I talked to a friend of mine, my now coach. I was interested, and I knew that it was worth the investment at this point. I was at a place where I was in a newer relationship. I, was trying to find myself again and find something that really meant something to me. And I really wanted to fall in love with myself again, because as much as I would easily give myself to others and help other people in the drop of a dime, I never really helped myself. And this is one thing that I wanted. And to my surprise, my boyfriend was super supportive. And even though at that time, we were working paycheck to paycheck and money was tight, it was something that he could see that I really, really wanted to do. So the investment wasn't as hard for some. Sorry, my dog is barking. Go ahead. Stop. The investment wasn't as hard as it is for some. So when I was signing up, I had spoken to her. She had obviously brought the opportunity of a coach to my attention, and it was something that I was not interested in, as much as she was a new coach, so she didn't have a lot of information. She was kind of just flying by the seat of her pants as well. But I did some digging, and I realized that at worst case scenario, I could sign up as a coach and I could become a discount coach, which meant that if I fell in love with the products and the shakes and wanted to continue on, as a coach, I would receive a 25% discount anytime I placed an order, whether I wanted a new product, whatever that looked like. So I was game, because I'm all about saving. So, and I wasn't forced into any special contract. I wasn't forced into, I could quit tomorrow if I wanted to. And that was something that I needed to have that reassurance of, unfortunately, because my past track record shows me as being a constant quitter, a yo-yo dieter. So knowing that I wasn't confident that I was going to succeed, I wanted to be able to have an easy out. So I signed up as a coach. I started my program, and I was very determined, and I had support around me. And even though it was tough, the first week was super tough, it was something that I was determined to do. So I had my first week, and I started with the 21-day fix. It's still one of my favorites. It's still the most popular program out there, and it still produces the best results that I have ever seen with any Beachbody product. So after my first day, first week, it wasn't even a full week. It was about 5 days. I started on a Monday, and I can remember that Friday getting ready to go out for dinner with my family. And when I put on my clothes, I was like, oh, like, these don't fit. This is crazy. And I started talking with people, and my coworkers and my family were noticing a difference. They were noticing like my skin clearing up. I was smiling more. I felt energized. Before, I would often go to work and I would come home and I would be a royal bitch and I felt horrible for it. But the reality was I was tired. I was miserable and I wasn't taking care of my body. So after a week of the program, people started showing interest, and I just started helping out some of, my friends and my family, and that's what it started with. Is it just started, okay, well, if you're interested in it, this is what I did, and I just kind of helped them along, and that was it. And then once I started to see even more results, and my friends and my family members having these results, I decided to start sharing them on social media. So I started sharing them on Facebook and on Instagram, and it started getting people's attention. And it was just something that it just blossomed from there. I started plugging into training groups that my coach and my upline coach were offering. I started doing all of this stuff, and within the first 3 months, I advanced my business so quickly. It was just like, it was a decision. It was overnight, and I tell people all the time, like, this business is a decision. I don't know why everybody's not doing it, but within 3 months, I advanced my business to diamond, and it wasn't always easy. There was ups and downs with it, obviously, but it gave me a new sense of purpose. I was helping people, and not just by selling them a product. I'm not a salesperson. I don't just sell somebody a product and then leave them there hanging. It was something where they were joining these groups, my challenge groups. I was talking with them daily. I was meeting new people, and it just blossomed from there. It became this whole new light for me. It was something that, regardless of how much I loved my job before, I absolutely loved myself doing this even more. I took a huge risk in August. So I started this at the end of April. In August, I left my full-time career that I had been doing for over 8 years. It was crazy. People thought I was crazy. I wasn't making the same amount of money that I was in 3 months where I was working, because I was making pretty good money. But I was so willing to give up and sacrifice that for something that I love. And people don't take risks anymore. People don't do things for themselves anymore. It's like we grow up, we get married, we have children, and our life is this constant path of how it's supposed to be. And I just knew that I wanted to be what I wanted to be. I wanted to be who I wanted to be. I wanted to teach my son that you can do what you love and you can be happy while you're doing it, and not always fighting these battles of not knowing what you should be doing with yourself. So I took the plunge, and I quit my job, and I started coaching full time. When I say coaching full time, I still only work on my business on average about 2 hours a day. Actually, sometimes I would find when I was working, I was doing more, but I got to pick when I worked. I got to make my own schedule. I haven't missed a hockey game. I haven't missed a school assembly. I haven't missed anything in my family. I haven't had to ask anybody for time off. I've got this total sense of control over myself and my future. And that is what I wanted. And it's something that people only dream about. So when they see me posting all this stuff, they think that I'm feeding them a crock of shit. But to be honest, anybody who does know me or knew me in my past knows that I was a workaholic. I would work endless hours just to put food on the table, and I was okay with it. But now I can minimize those hours, do what I love, help myself in the meantime, excuse me, and feel really rewarded about it. I feel I've done things in the last year that I've never done. I'm getting in the best shape I've ever been. I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I struggled with fertility. I was told I would never have children again, but I learned to accept that. Now with the changes in my health, I've actually I'm putting more effort into trying to come up with other options, and for the first time actually got a clean bill of health that I haven't had since before I had my son. And so life is just changing in so many aspects, and it's something that for me has changed my life. I don't know if it will change everybody's life, but the constant stories, success stories, and the people that you'll get to interact with on the team and on the extended team, it becomes a family. I have new friends that, that are in this with me, and I get to spend time with them and really get to, be a part of something that I'm feeling like I've built. And I know that there's moms out there like me who feel that they have to do everything safe and they have to do everything the right way, when in fact that's not what life's about. And I came to the realization that I wanted to do something that made me happy. And now I have, from a girl that didn't even own a passport, I've flew to Portland for a week on my birthday to see a friend that I had met through this business who lives out in Portland. I'm going to Nashville in July. I'm going to California in September, and it's a never ending, it's a journey, but it's so great. Like I've won free trips. The money is all on your efforts, which is awesome. So if you really put forth an effort, then you're going to be rewarded financially for this. I've seen people, retire their husbands in a year. I've seen people, travel the world because you can do this from your phone or a laptop. I mean, when I started, I didn't even have a laptop. I worked off of my phone for the first 2 months. So it's just a business that the opportunity's there, and it's something that has changed my life, and all I want to do is constantly pay it forward. There's nothing better than hearing success stories, whether they're success stories because your challengers have lost that weight that they've been fighting to lose for years, or whether somebody is, getting a clean bill of health from the doctor, or whether somebody has started this business and found passion in what we do, in helping other people get started on their health and fitness journeys and see it right through to the end. It's something that I wouldn't want any other way, and I will never stop doing this as long as I can. It also helps for extra accountability and keeping you accountable for your health and fitness goals, and it's just something that I couldn't imagine doing anything else. So I know that's kind of a long video. It's a bit about my story, about me. If you're a coach on my team or you join in my team, you will get to know me a bit more. We're like a family. We constantly support and reward each other. It's a whole new world that can be such a good example for so many people in our family, in our friend circle. And it's just something that I think more people should start taking seriously. And I know these opportunities come, and people get super scared because they think there's some kind of pyramid scheme or some sales gimmick or, some sensey thing or whatever they have on the market now. And I totally understand that, because being a skeptic myself, I was terrified. It took me a while to really learn the business. Like I said, my coach was new to the business, so I found myself, teaching myself a lot of stuff. But now when I look at the network of people around me in, different countries, and we're all supporting each other, it's an amazing community. So if you have any questions, let me know. And that's a little bit about me and how I got started with coaching. Like I said, I can ramble on forever, so I should probably cut this short so that you guys have time to peek into the other stuff. So hope to hear from you soon.